At the start of 2025, I was only going into the year with 9 bookings, and I was feeling that pressure. Is it just me, or is the year being quiet? Why aren't I getting the bookings? And I felt like things had to change. Right now, going into 2026, at the time of this recording, which is at the beginning of March, I now have 18 weddings for 2026. So I have doubled what I had from the previous year in 2025, now going into 2026. And there's quite a lot of things that I did to make this happen, for me to kind of go from 9 in 2025 to now 18 in 2026. And I'll talk to you through the steps of how I get bookings, where they come from, and things that I've done on these different platforms to get me to those 18 weddings for 2026. If you're in the wedding industry right now and you're thinking, I'm not getting the bookings or things are going quite slow, then this might be the video for you. These strategies might not work for everyone, but they work for me, and I'll talk you through where my bookings come from, the type of couples that I'm getting, and some practical takeaways that you can use to help kind of boost more inquiries and get more bookings for 2026. For some context, my name's Tom. I am a wedding videographer. I am based in Cambridgeshire, but I travel all across the UK capturing weddings for couples who do things a little bit different. They may not go for your standard traditional wedding. They like to try it and break the rules a little bit and do things differently. The wedding industry has changed a lot, and for me, since filming weddings in 2022, I feel like it has shifted quite a lot. Couples are taking their time when they are booking. Budgets feel a little bit tighter, and it's quite easy to spiral and feel like you are the issue. You just need to kind of trust the process and trust that you are putting the time and energy into reaching the couples that you want, attracting the couples that you want, and just kind of like holding your nerve a little bit. Things will work out. The difficult thing is that you don't quite know when a booking or an inquiry is going to come in. But when you get that inquiry, it's then what you do with it afterwards and looking at your kind of workflow and how you are bringing in these couples. So there are a few things that I kind of changed in 2025 to help me get these bookings for 2026. And I thought to start off by talking about where my inquiries come from. So 43% of my inquiries come from Instagram. 27% come from referrals, and it could be from suppliers, it could be from venues, or it could just be from other wedding couples. And finally, 18% of my inquiries come from Facebook. There is a few, like 5%, 2% of inquiries that come from like Google or directories, or just kind of finding me from word of mouth. But I thought I'd focus on these 3 things, which I feel like are the major parts of where my inquiries come from. So what I've kind of done for Instagram is I've changed how I post my content and the type of content I post for 2025. I was focused a lot, in 2025, I was focused a lot on just filming weddings and editing these weddings, and I wasn't really focusing a lot on my marketing. So what I tried to do is shift that. What I started to do is I started to post consistently, so I now post 4 times a week, and I'll sit down at the beginning of the week and plan my content for that week and schedule all of my content so I don't really have to think about it too much. I try and show up a lot more consistently on my stories. So I feel like couples nowadays want to see a person behind the camera. Yes, they look at like the content you post and the weddings that you film and the locations that you go to, but they also kind of want to see a bit of personality behind the camera. So one great way of showing your face a lot more is on your stories. You don't really have to talk all the time. You can just show your face, just some photos of yourself, but being more consistent on your stories and showing your face really helps couples to connect with you and see that there is a personality behind the camera. A few things that did kind of happen when posting consistently with my Instagram is a few of my reels did go viral. I've had a few that have gone from about 2 million all the way up to like 10, 11 million. And yes, this did bring in a lot of followers, but this didn't quite equate to bookings. The second place where most of my inquiries come from is referrals, and this is from photographers, this is from other couples and from venues. I've recently become a recommended supplier for a venue, and this has helped bring in a lot more inquiries for that venue. Also, just being genuine and friendly on the wedding day really helps. If you connect with like the photographers that you work with, they can then help refer you to their couples. I feel like the process the timeline that couples are planning their wedding, photographers and venues tend to be one of the first ones, and then videographers, we tend to kind of be a little bit later down the line. So if you can get in with the suppliers at the start of the timeline, they can help refer you to those couples, rather than then kind of like trying to find the videographers that they want. Just trying to build connections with these suppliers. If you can go to supplier meetings, if you can just do some co-working, really connecting with people that are kind of in your area and that you want to work with really helps you get onto their recommended supplier lists and help bring in more inquiries for the year that you are working towards. The last one I kind of want to talk about where my inquiries come from is Facebook. Now this has kind of fluctuated a lot, and Facebook used to be number one for me when I first started in weddings. And this is because I was posting a lot on Facebook groups. As I was fairly new to weddings, I was offering my services quite low, and posting on Facebook groups like budget Facebook wedding groups and like area supplier groups. Like the area that I'm in is Cambridgeshire, Norfolk and Suffolk, and they kind of had their own like Facebook groups for brides in that area. But if you are on these Facebook groups, there are always couples looking for recommendations for videographers, and if you can comment your name down below, at least that just gets your name out there and it gets you to just a wider audience of people. There are a few things that I kind of stopped doing that really kind of helped me feel more positive about going forward into 2026 is I stopped comparing myself to other wedding suppliers. I unfollowed a load of wedding suppliers that I just didn't feel like, every time I'd open up Instagram I would kind of feel negative and feel like, why am I getting the bookings? If you're feeling like this, then maybe it might be that you just need to unfollow a few people that you're just comparing yourself to and it isn't really helping you mentally. I also realised that you can't just try and attract everyone. You have to focus on the right couples for you, the weddings that you want to film. If you can post content on social media or post content out there that attracts these, like the target audience for you, it might not boost your inquiries, but it will boost your conversion rate from these inquiries to your bookings, because the inquiries that are coming through are the ones that are more aligned with you and your business and the weddings that you want to film. There was also a shift from my pricing and my inquiry process. I went from having all of my prices and my packages on my website, from taking them off, from then putting my from price, then taking them off, and now I'm back to just having a from price. I tried a lot of different techniques just to see what worked for me. I did notice that when I actually took off all of my prices, I did get a lot more inquiries, but then I wasn't hearing from a lot of these couples, so they might have just been that once they saw my prices that it didn't fit in with their budget. So now I've gone back to putting a from price, and this is kind of like felt a bit more consistent. I'm getting inquiries coming through every week of people just downloading my pricing guide. The type of bookings that I'm getting now are more aligned with my brand. I'm now focusing a lot more on couples who want to do things a little bit more different. They might be a little bit more rule breakers or creative couples, but I am attracting those weddings that I want. I've now started to focus a lot more on celebrant-led weddings, as when I'm creating my wedding film, story is really important. So I feel like celebrant-led weddings really help with that. Couples are doing personal vows. The celebrant does a lot more personal stories about the couple, and this really helps me when I am editing and creating their wedding films. What actually made the difference was being consistent and showing my face more. From changing my kind of posting schedule to now posting 4 times a week really helps, because I'm consistent more on social media. I'm showing my face up a lot more on my stories, so couples are now seeing a bit more of a personality, and just really just trusting the process. I still have weeks where I get no inquiries, no one has downloaded my pricing guide, and you really feel like you need to change something or do things differently. But really you just need to trust it. I know that the wedding industry is kind of changing a lot. Couples are taking their time when they inquire to then book in. So you just really need to just hold your nerve and trust that you are making the right decisions. Here are some practical things that you can take away from this video. Number 1 is audit the last 10 bookings. Where did they come from? What was the process like? How long did it take them to go from inquiries? Or how long did it take them from downloading your pricing guide to then booking a call to then booking you to film their wedding? Number 2 is double down on what's already working. If you can see where your bookings are coming from, which is working the most, like for me it was Instagram, so I focus a lot more of my attention on Instagram, as I know that's going to attract the couples that I want. Number 3 is just trying to show your face more. Just show up more on, it doesn't have to be on your grid on Instagram, it could be just on your stories. Just take a picture of yourself, do a quick little talking video of what you're planning for that day or what you're kind of looking forward to, just so couples get a bit more a feel of who you are as a person and kind of a bit more about your personality. If you are feeling stuck right now, then you are not alone. The wedding industry has kind of shifted a lot. Couples are taking their time when they are inquiring, they are reaching out to a lot of different suppliers. So there's a lot that goes into kind of planning a wedding, and we just need to be more patient with couples. There are quiet seasons and there are busy seasons. You may be in one of these quiet seasons at the moment, but just trust the process and know that if you are putting yourself out there, if you are making the right decisions, then these inquiries and bookings will come through. If this video has helped, please let me know. Please comment down below if you are kind of struggling right now, or comment down below if you have any tips for people who might be struggling. Let's just create a community where we are helping each other out and we are not kind of battling against each other and just comparing ourselves to other people. If you also want me to break down deeper on my inquiries process, my workflow from when couples inquire and download my pricing guide to then booking your call and then booking me to film their wedding, just let me know, and yeah, I'll be happy to film another video. Well, thank you so much for watching today's video, and if you have enjoyed, please like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.